serious, and we are part of this system without ever like stopping to question it. We go to school, we go to university, we know that we need to get a degree, we know that we need to have a job, we know that we need to build a house, build a family, buy a house, make some kids. All in all, makes. Hi everyone, and welcome to Not Your Perfect Yogi channel. Today is another day of No Perfect Vlogmas, and today we're gonna talk about the Matrix. No, not about the movie, but in case you have been in these YouTube streets for a while now, maybe you have heard of this concept being expressed on a number of channels. People are talking about the Matrix and waking up from it, taking the blue pill, the red pill. I'm not gonna go into the red pill content, don't be worried about it. But people are talking about the Matrix in the sense of the reality that we all live in. The reality that's been constructed by us, or by some of us, for many of us. But the reality that we all comply to, the reality that we all participate in every day, the reality that kind of shapes our lives. In case you're not familiar with the concept, I'm not gonna go into describing the movie. I suggest that you watch the movie, but I would say that this saying, this talking about the Matrix, comes from the very well-known movie, which again is inspired by story from Plato, so it's all related. But the concept behind it is that we all live in a made-up reality. We all we all participate in this made-up reality that's just a reflection of our own minds in a way. So it's not reality, it's our own shadow, it's the projection of humans throughout time. It's what our ancestors have created for us with time, you know, like we go to a certain job, we build families in a certain way, we live in certain ways, we you know, like working for a living, and all this concept, everything is created to the benefit of mankind, if you think of it. But we are so wrapped up into it that we don't actually know what's real, what's not, what's just a creation of other people, and what's reality. We take our jobs so serious. We take, you know, like we take other people's plans. If you think of our contribution to society, we take them so serious, and we are part of this system without ever like stopping to question it. We go to school, we go to university, we know that we need to get a degree, we know that we need to have a job, we know that we need to build a house, build a family, buy a house, make some kids. All in all, many of these things have to do also with the nature of mankind, but many of these aspects of life also have to do with just what was constructed a long time, and what might not be the best thing for you at this moment. But because you're born into it, and because your mom and your dad have told you, no, you need to become an engineer, this is what you are focusing on, and this is what becomes really relevant and important in your life. How am I defining myself in this society? How do all others acknowledge me? We have these unwritten rules of what's valued, what's not, and we all follow the same path without wondering why. Because our parents tell us, because their parents told them, and we so progress into it. And yeah, many people are waking up from this and are starting to talk about the Matrix, and are starting to talk about everything. Like they are deconstructing mostly what has to do with jobs and how you earn your living, but also relationships, families. I'm careful within these movements. I'm careful about saying that that we all should change our lives radical, but at the same time there's an inch of truth in it that has to do with a system that kind of wants to live at all costs. And in order to live on, in order for this system to kind of maintain itself, you need to keep people at a lower vibration. You need to keep them in a sense of fear. You need to keep them where they were maybe when these rules were developed. So maybe it was very useful for everyone to have a job in a certain type of social construct, because we all needed to work, we all needed to eat, so it all makes perfect sense. But in the meantime, we've become so developed with so many things that it's hard to keep people where they were. And if you followed what happened after the pandemic, the big resignation and people not being able to find jobs, and so it was so hard to keep them still. It was so hard to keep the narrative going. It was so hard, like, you shouldn't leave your job. And now we have a new thing. We have the recession that's coming. We have other things keeping us in place. Like, the system only works if people comply to it. So if you see them kind of waking up like from a dream and stepping outside of it, you will draw them back in with fear. So this is where I don't agree with keeping things as they've always were, because if you have to keep people with fear, this means that probably some people have outgrown the situation. Maybe it's not as bad to re-look at our social contracts, re-look at how everything was built, and say, for this time and age where we developed this, and we realized all of us can have food, all of us can have shelter in some way or the other, most of us can have these things. What would we need to do in order to go to the next level? And this is where kind of the system shakes and says, no, let's put some fear onto it. No one is going to the next level. So I firmly believe that we're going through a big change that's happening in the world. Like, probably one of the biggest revolutions we're in it at the moment, and it started with the information revolution, and it's just growing, and we're all more connected and more mentally connected than ever, and it's bringing equal opportunities to a lot of people. But in the process, you'll have some shakedowns, like when the system is kind of collapsing or reorganizing, you're having some shakedowns, and these shakedowns can prove pretty damaging for some people at the top, or even for people that are really genuinely holding on to how things used to be. So without getting too political, without getting too deep into this, I believe that the concept of the matrix really speaks of something that exists out there, really speaks of a reality that exists out there, and that's in the process of being deconstructed in some way or the other. The fact that we have started building on it other things, other mutations of the matrix, that's not necessarily the direction we should be moving, but I think it's not wrong to question things. It's not wrong to question, do I want to work in this type of job? Is this how I want to spend my life energy? Is that what, if I was consciously choosing today, is this where I would give my life to? Because if you spend most of your days in a job, like if you spend more than half of your awake time in a job with certain people and with yeah, with with an occupation that you didn't necessarily create for yourself or chose for yourself. It might be that you want to say, no, I want to spend half of my life doing something different, or in a different relationship, or in, yeah, different ways of learning, and all of this, you know, like, it's all that's built there. We should be grateful for it because it gives us a lot of opportunities. It's not being ungrateful if you want to progress beyond that. It's more, okay, we maintain what needs to be maintained, but we need to change what needs to be changed. So that can only be a self-evaluation. This is where I doubt that everyone should be fighting the matrix and trying to get out of it. This should be a self-evaluation. Where am I now? Where's my life force going? What's worth keeping? What's worth taking away? And yeah, just realizing, is it worth having this job? Is it worth going to that school? Is it worth marrying that person? Is it worth, I don't know, just living close to what you've always lived close to? All of it now is open for us to change and to transform up until a certain point, you know, like while maintaining things going. So you know best for yourself, better than anyone else, actually what's worth your life energy. I think if there's one takeaway from this matrix video, is like, is it worth me giving my life energy to it? If it is, then yes. If it's not, then what is worth me giving my life energy to? So not just break out of the matrix because you want to break out of the matrix, but because you want to have your own path. You cannot break and not have a direction. But if you feel that the direction that things are moving into, set by other people, is not your direction, you have the opportunity in this day and time to move towards your own direction. These were my thoughts. I'll probably come back to this topic because it's a way bigger topic. But for a nice, is this Tuesday? No, Monday. For a nice Monday chat, this was what I had in mind for No Perfect Vlogmas. I'll see you guys next time. The light in me sees the light in you. And this is why I do these videos. Bye bye guys, see you tomorrow.